This week on Ted Lasso. What's got Nate the Great so irate? Will Sharon the Shrink help Ted think? Will this tart make a fresh start? Is newly employed Roy annoyed or feeling joy? Oh boy. All this and more, all on today's...
Yeah, we're watching season 2. Yeah, and we'll make you smile too. Heaven knows we'll try.
Woo-ha! Got you all in check. Thank you so very much, Matthew Winkler, for that incredible reimagining of the theme. Welcome, people of the internet, to Talkin Ted. This is a Ted Lasso recap show. I am Mike, I'm your host. I was initially going to call this show Ted Talks. That name was taken previously, but I digress. Let's get into episode 2. Let's meet our special guest. Give it up for Dave Proctor. Dave, how do you do today?
I do good. How do you? I do well. Wait. Good intro. Solid 10 out of 10 on my part.
We're not doing another take of that. I'm feeling the authenticity there. First concert, best concert.
Oh, great. First concert was, I think, the Beach Boys at Canada's Wonderland.
No shit.
Or like what I was told was the Beach Boys. I don't know if it was actually the Beach Boys or if it was like a cover band. Absolutely not the best concert. Best concert. I'm going to be predictable for myself. And I'm going to say Rush on the Time Machine tour when they played all of Moving Pictures from beginning to end. So they have a solely instrumental song called YYZ. I'd never seen played live, and when it's played live, the crowd chants along like it's a soccer game. Like it's really, they're like, whoa, it was wild.
I'm glad that you saw that. And on the topic of soccer chants, let's get into the recap.
Okay, I liked episode 1, but it didn't do what the rest of season 1 did for me. And there's some stuff in the second episode too that I was like, not just setup-y, but like jokes that function differently than jokes in the first season do. It's like something that would happen in a National Lampoon movie and not something that I think would happen in an episode of Ted Lasso. It's a different quality of humor.
To that point, I agree with you. I did like that it thwarted my tonal expectations right off the bat.
I don't know. It felt like early 2000s kind of comedy, you know, like it felt different. And there's a shot in this episode too. We finally get to see Roy's retirement speech, and it is, again, it's like it's over the top. Like for me, you know, season 2, episode 1 is setting up these bigger beats to kind of recalibrate us. But I think it could have done so in a more confident and calm way. Like, I think that's what was missing for me. Episode 2 now is having these conversations. The conversation with Jamie and Ted in the bar is more kind of what I was expecting. I almost felt like, you know, when Ted talks about the dog at the press conference in episode 1, I feel that it almost seemed like a parody of like season 1 stuff.
I'm on board with you on that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I also feel that was intentional because there were moments that in that first act of the season premiere that I thought were strategically overly sitcom-y. To me, a failed season 2 would be the exact same as season 1, and because it would be so easy to mess up season 2 by just having every episode be a Ted Lassoism every 2 minutes. So I'm glad that it just like acknowledged, okay, here's what you expect, but also we're gonna things up.
Yeah, no, I get you, and I think that's a good way of looking at it, right? I think the stuff with Nate is going to be really good, or at least I'm interested to see that build and boil, because it's
going to boil for sure.
I want to see more of Sam. You know, like his personality, I think, was really welcome. Him having challenges now and struggles with Ted, I think, is so valuable. I think it's going to make for a good story. I think and I think he can do it. I don't know. What about you?
The most impactful single moment of this episode was just that shot of Ted at the bar with Jamie, just saying that his father was more hard on himself than he ever was on Ted.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be I think that's going to be the heaviest moment of the season, to like the reveal of how his father passed away.
I'm super interested. I know that line meant something to me because of, experience with some members of my family, and like what that could mean a lot of things. And they could go a very standard way, and be, it could be about addiction, or it could be about whatever, but I'm interested to see what that means to this show and to these showrunners. This is the thing I love about this show, is the way that it dealt with accountability, masculinity, emotion. It's what stokes me about the show. So I want to see how they're going to talk about those things. I trust the show to not, screw it up.
That to me is the number one tension of a show that isn't based on violence or action. With a show like this, we're going to anticipate that the main characters whose, actor names are in the opening credits, that they're going to remain in the opening credits in season 3.
Yep.
So to me, the tension really lies on, are the writers going to stick the landing?
Yeah, that's fair.
And also, there was a nice moment in this episode where Ted referred to his old love of video games, and you're in the video game industry.
Yeah, that was great. That made me smile.
Yeah,
and the way that they talked about it, I think, was really, really good. Once upon a time, I thought that cutting video games out of my life would make me a better person, but actually would only deprive me of something that I really gleaned joy from. It was perfect. That was great.
Well, you know what? I also glean joy from that myself. Hey, do you want to play a video game right now?
Oh, that sounds great. Let's do it.
Cool. Oh, hi. So we're playing video games here with Dave. Now, I thought because this is a Ted Lasso show, it'd be appropriate to play a soccer video game. The thing is, I don't have any soccer video games, but the show takes place in England. James Bond is English, so we're playing Goldeneye.
Fun to talk and play Goldeneye. It's like walking and chewing gum.
So Dave, you have written for fiction.
Yep.
You have written song lyrics.
Yep.
You write video games.
I do that too.
How did the writing for video games come to be?
One day I got a copy of Alan Wake, which is a video game about a writer. It's very like Stephen King-ish. And then that was like the moment where I was like, oh, I should have been making video games this whole time.
Is Michigan Brendan Gleeson?
Buddy, it's been so long. I have no idea.
Because I know Alan Cumming is...
Alan Cumming is Boris.
Yeah. We read a story, we follow along.
Yep.
When it comes to a video game, you are the protagonist. You are setting the tempo.
How does interactivity inform my approach to story?
Yeah.
Can I be like a little bit pedantic?
I hope so.
This isn't a fact that I've held true for a long time, and heard it recently on a podcast. And she said narrative and story are two different things. So the story is sort of what happens, and the narrative is the way that the story is kind of delivered to you. I just think about like what is the method that the story is being delivered, and what kind of story can you tell in that method. Finally, he gets a kill on the board.
What are some things you'd like players to get out of the big con?
I want them to feel a connection to Allie, to what it means to do something to save something that's important to you. I want people to laugh. I want people to have fun. I want people to see what our version of a game without violence looks like.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, it was. I think my swivel was off. I'll be honest with you.
I'll fix that in post.
Great.
And then I won't, and then that'll be a joke.
Yeah.
So speaking of games, on Talkin' Ted, we like to play a little game of our own. This is Wordplay Swordplay. Wordplay Swordplay.
Ooh, very good.
I have not read this, so you and I are going to try and solve this riddle right here on the internet in this recording. So, here it is. What would you call a boring aircraft over Saskatchewan? The answer is a plane over the plains.
I'm gonna walk into the sea. I'm so upset.
Before you go, one last question we ask all of our guests here. What are you grateful for?
Grateful for you, Mike. It's you're a good friend. You've been a creative inspiration for a very long time. And I like your energy and your attitude.
Would you stop admiring me if I just boomeranged that sentiment?
Yeah, do it. Just fire it back. Constant vigilance.
Dave, your game, the big con. I have had the absolute fortune of seeing this develop.
You've really been there since the beginning.
To see it be chosen by Tribeca, to see all of the press for it, I admire your brain and spirit and your leadership skills. And oh my gosh, so I cannot wait to play the shit out of the big con when it comes out.
Thanks, man. That means a lot. I really appreciate it.
Give the people at home the call to action for where to find the big con.
You can go to thebigcongame.com. I think that's our website. And you can wishlist us on Steam, and I don't know, follow us on Twitter, Mighty Yell. And it's gonna come out at the end of August. It's gonna be great.
Thank you for tuning in to Talking Ted. If you have any ideas for future episodes, sound off in the comments. Or, if you know me personally, text me your ideas. I appreciate you.
I want to get one of those like English like microphones that just look like you are.
They put them right in their mouths. It's wild. They're just like, and I know this because of it. That's gonna sound horrible.
Well, don't you worry about that.